What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the XRM studios and the 110 Football Fan Cave. This is 110 Football's instant reaction after a very disappointing loss in San Jose for LAFC. How many games is that win list now? Is it 4?
Yeah.
4 games win list for LAFC. I've been hearing, people have been telling me that people in the chat are already hot. They're fired up.
Right.
They're ready for this. So, guys, we're going to talk it out with you. We'll get through all the emotions. But let's just start with what the chat is really fired up about, and it seems to be Bob Bradley. So before we get too deep into this match, I want somebody take this from me. Bob Bradley should be what? What do you want to see different? What?
I'm gonna give him the Aaron Rodgers relax on Bob. We were sitting here talking about it as we were prepping for this. Expected goals, 3rd in Major League Soccer, and you mentioned a stat that I didn't know about. Expected goals differential per 90, we're number 1 in the league. We are making the right plays tactically. We're just not finishing. Last I checked, Bob Bradley cannot score nor assist for this club. Bob out. Look at Atlanta. Everybody go back. Just Wikipedia, Google, whatever you need. Look at Atlanta for the last couple of seasons. After they fired their coach, or after, did he leave? Or however Tata Martino left.
Tata Martino decided to leave.
Yeah, it has been an unmitigated disaster in Atlanta. Repeat the same thing here? No, thank you.
Yeah, they're still looking for a coach.
Yeah.
Still. So I would say, yeah, to your point, careful what you wish for.
Right.
Jess, I'm going to go to you. Tactically is where if it was tactically bad, you think about changing a manager, or you just have completely lost the team in general. Do you see any of those signs? What do you see?
Well, as you guys were kind of talking there, I was thinking about the other side of it, which is the motivational side of a coach being able to get your team up for matches, to get them inspired and ready to go. And this team just feels a little stale, like they don't have that spark that they had before. So if it's not a tactical issue and it's not about creating chances and build up, then maybe it's he's just not inspiring them anymore. And sometimes that happens. You just need something different. But then again, who's better than Bob? That's what we were already talking about. Yeah. So be careful what you wish for. But there is a question in the back of my mind whether or not he's able to get this group of players to be inspired and play the way that they did when he first arrived.
Well, let's talk a little bit about this group of players. I think I said this on the podcast with Max. It seems stale. And I did hedge my bets, or hedge my comment a little bit by saying it's not all the front office's fault. COVID obviously kept Diego Rossi would already be gone. Brian Rodriguez might be gone. Edward Atuesta might be gone, and there'd be players that would come in their spot. Philly, does it feel stale? And if it is stale, is that Bob Bradley's fault? Like, what is he supposed to work with players that think that they already should be in Europe?
Again, like, we went from being a 4-3-3 team to tinkering around with things that obviously didn't work. It went back to a 4-3-3 thing. But I mean, are things getting stale? I mean, the same problems are mounting up time and time again. I mean, the first thing we talked about when we wanted to say what our keys to the game was set piece defense. Be careful of the crosses. What happened? Christian Espinoza early on did exactly what we needed the team to do. So the same mistakes time and time again, just mental lapses, just. And the frustration, you can sense that the team has it. At the end, you have Raheem Edwards and Latif Blessing like fighting with the ref and fighting with San Jose. The team's frustrated. It was a frustrating game. I mean, it's easy to be angry. I'm just sad and disappointed. I mean, San Jose at this point, they haven't lost in 7 games. Haven't lost really since June 26th. LAFC can't even buy themselves a win in an area that they've been comfortable in. We can't call it Bank of California North anymore, and it was certainly not a pillage of Smurf Village. I mean, we got ousted by the Smurfs. The Smurfs got one on Gargamel tonight.
Yeah. I got buddy Neko in the chat saying that we're paid by LAFC. I've not collected a paycheck from LAFC since July of last year when they laid me off. Trust me, LAFC does not pay me at all. Influencing the front office, the team would be a lot worse if I was influencing the front office. Let me put it that way. But I get it. People are upset. They think that we're not going to have at it. The thing is, I think the reason why we're in agreement that Bob Bradley's not necessarily the problem is because where we really want to hammer the point through is the finishing the players themselves. I think my biggest takeaway from this match is the execution is just garbage. Yeah. Within a 10-minute span, you get Chicho Arango in. It's not a great pass from Carlos, but he still tries to do something with it, and then almost hits. They couldn't even call it a shot.
Right.
The commentators, Max and Sullivan, were both like, "Is that a cross? What was that?" Like they're trying to reason it out. And then 10 minutes later, you have Latif Blessing who chops up 2 guys, has the entire net, has
Beautiful
about
run.
6 yards of the 8-yard net, and decides to put it to the one place where it's not going to finish.
Yeah.
I don't understand where that would be Bob Bradley.
Well, Jessica, you brought up something interesting that I didn't think about, that maybe he's lost the players, okay? And maybe that translates on the pitch. That's the only thing I can think of with players with world-class talent, which we now see with Chicho Arango. We see it from Carlos Vela day in and day out. We see it from players like Moon and Sifu and everybody else. Maybe, do you think that losing the players, if Bob has, I'm not saying he has, but you brought up the point, does that translate to the way they play out there on the pitch?
It's possible, but are we seeing, again, it's an execution thing. I mean,
Sure.
I'm thinking if he's lost the players that the pass between Carlos and Chicho never happens.
Right.
I'm thinking if he's lost the players, Latif Blessing isn't trying to beat two men to put it in on goal. That first half, they looked not quite up to speed, but keep in mind this is a San Jose team that plays in a Bielsa way. Literally, they get the ball and it's like wide receivers running routes. They just all zoom, and I don't think LAFC was maybe quite up to that level. We can put that maybe at the feet of Bob Bradley.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, the one thing I was going to say is, okay, let's just hypothetically play with the Bob out statement. If Bob goes out, they're not going to fill in his shoes immediately. It'll probably be Kenny and Ante taking over the reins as interims for a little while. What does that mean? They're effectively still going to be the same team, so it's not going to be a quick fix. So getting rid of Bob right now isn't necessarily the answer, because the problems that are still here would continue on. We would need another season. In addition to that, you would pretty much have to subscribe to the idea that the season is done if you get rid of Bob. But, I mean, as crazy as it is to say, there's still an opportunity to sneak into the playoffs. Forget MLS Cup at this point. Get that thought out of your head. That's not even like the goal right now. The goal should be still just to make playoffs. That's how this team is making it. They're probably going to limp into the playoffs, but again, you fire Bob, you're subscribing to the idea that this season is done, and what's going to happen is still going to continue to happen. And then that means next season is going to be the year. Still think we have an opportunity to do something this season. So if we're going to get rid of Bob, I don't agree with it right now, but definitely not right now.
I mean, we've just moved past the halfway mark. Is that how sad LAFC is, that we should only be talking about sneaking into the playoffs?
I mean, I think the aspiration should still be there to win the whole damn thing.
Sure.
With the talent that we have on this roster, with the players who bringing in Arango, bringing in Ibeaka, it's going to be really interesting to see how he fits into the mix now with Segura being out for the season. I mean, Segura's a tough blow, right? We're talking about one of, if not
blow,
the best center back.
Top three center back in the league.
Absolutely. We should still, I'm sorry, maybe it's just the optimist in me. I am the guy who predicted 4-1 today, so who knows. I think we should still be focused on, yes, getting into the playoffs, winning MLS Cup. Still.
I think we just need to focus on scoring a goal.
Yeah, that's good. Point, place to
like
start.
just keeping it bite-sized. I just think the basics have just gone, and it's unraveling a little bit at the seams, and just a little bit, just going back to the Bob thing, like to me it just kind of feels like I think he's built up enough good faith, with hopefully with the fans. I know he's when you're looking at it, you love the player so much that it has to be the coach, but he's the one who's kind of built up this whole thing that we love so much. So I would say, like, maybe he deserves to get the opportunity to get some new players in, a fresher group of players that will listen to what he wants, and then the players that want to go to Europe, maybe let them go and start again. And if that doesn't work, then it's Bob. But right now we don't know if it is or not, because we know that there's players there that probably shouldn't be there now. So I think he's built up enough good faith. For me, it can't be Bob out just yet. And if somebody in the chat wants to let us know who could potentially come in and do a better job, that's probably a good question to ask yourself.
Now you're talking. Yeah, we want names. Name names.
Yep.
If you've got people, and be realistic. Oh yeah, Antonio Conte. Love that to happen. It's not going to happen. If you guys also, I know Antonio Conte fairly well, having coached Juventus for a long time, played for Juventus. If you want a manager that is willing to change or mold to different things, it's not Antonio Conte. He plays one way and one way only. He expects his players to basically be robots, and he would lose his mind at the limited practice time that he's allowed to have. But I don't want to stamp on anyone's dreams. Antonio Conte would love to see him coach here. So name names. But to Jess's point, I think everyone's scared of that R word, rebuild.
Yeah.
But I think in soccer, the better word is you need cycles. There's cycles. Teams, the great Barcelona teams, it was 3-4 years where they would be together, and then you had to refresh because players have opportunities elsewhere. Their minds get turned. They want more money. They want to do other things. This happens, and this is football. But it's a weird nature because in other American sports, it's the top of the top, right? So you're in the MLB. There's nowhere else to go.
Right.
But in world football, guys have other aspirations that they want to do. So I think really, you need to refresh the cycle, and I think that, to your point, Bob deserves and probably even this front office, the ability to do that first cycle refresh, which has gotten slowed down by COVID. Someone in the chat just said Greg Vanny. So on that note, we'll move on. We will move on to what we do here. We like to go headlines. We do a stock up, stock down. We'll start with the headlines, and I'm going to go with you, JR. Do you have a headline for this match, please?
My headline for this match is at least Chicho played well.
Kinda.
I think we need to.
Kinda?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. There was a little question mark at the end of that statement. It was fun.
What did you like about what Chicho did?
I mean, you saw immediately, right? He had the vision. He found Vela. Vela found him. And we talked about this a little bit with the way that Vela and Moon play with each other. Class finds class out there on the pitch, and I think eventually that cream will rise to the top. It didn't look like that was with Brian Rodriguez as the third. Love to see it with Diego Rossi, but who knows how long he's going to be here. But you immediately got that jolt of, okay, we've got another guy, right? We've got another weapon out there on the pitch. With all due respect to Corey Baird, with all due respect to even Danny Musovsky or what we've seen from Brian Rodriguez from here on out, you don't feel that weapon at all times out on the pitch. And at least from what we saw the first 20, 30 minutes, felt like we had a weapon out there on the pitch with Chicho.
LAFC's never going to have a number 9 that's not involved, that just stands up there and tries to hammer goals from within the box. But was Chicho trying to make too much? Did we really just need him to be the guy that is on the end of the pass instead of trying to set up?
I mean, it is a Carlos Vela team, so you may feel like coming straight in, I need to give the most popular person, the pass. Maybe it's just getting used to being important in a team where there is such a superstar like Carlos Vela. I can see why he might be deferring to him a little bit, but that being said, we need other goal scorers and other people to be dangerous, so he's going to have to stand up and be counted. And I'm sure Carlos would appreciate somebody else taking the responsibility off of his back every once in a while.
I couldn't agree more. If he wants to ingratiate himself with Carlos Vela, buy him a bottle of wine. Be a killer. Score a goal. You had an awesome opportunity. And how many times have we seen this over the course of the last several years where we're too polite passing, trying to do a little bit of that tiki-taka in the box? He had an opportunity. Latif had an opportunity. Just strike the ball. Just do what you got to do. I hate to be cliche and say you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, but he had that opportunity. He could have made his mark. He absolutely could have made his mark. Why he passed that is beyond me.
Yeah, I mean, and the reason why maybe it looked so awkward was the pass from Vela wasn't great. So when you look at the guy that is supposed to be, 100% all the time, and he's kind of off, Chicho, we need you to, this is why you've been brought in, to step up your level that a little bit, because we can't rely on Carlos Vela every single match.
And clearly we haven't been able to, right? How many times in the first 2.5 years did we see him drag the ball, look for his left foot, curl it in, highlight reel goal? When was the last time we saw one of those from Carlos Vela this season? He's just been, like you said, a touch off here and there. And this season, unfortunately, he's been a little more than a touch off, right? He's putting it 3 and 4 and 5 feet over the bar rather than just out of the bar's reach. So I think he needs someone to release the pressure, for sure.
The RSL goal was pretty nice.
It was beautiful.
Okay. Yeah. Well, as long as we can settle on
Right.
that. Jess, headline for this match.
My headline is mad is good. Being mad is good. I know that at the end of the game, it was a little bit funny to me, just a little bit, to watch Raheem Edwards and Latif going after the referee, just because it was so much.
You love the clap.
Yeah, it was it was so extra, and I love a little drama, but I do think you saw some frustrations, excuse me, from multiple players, not just them two. You also saw it from Carlos Vela, of course. You saw it from some other players when the passes were not good. They were looking at each other. They looked frustrated, and that's better than apathy. That's better than acting like you don't care, or just being like, whatever, or just walking off the pitch and not caring about the referee making bad calls. So for me, mad is good because it shows that you still care. And as long as that fire is still there, I think that we still have a chance. I do think that we need to focus bite-sized, just scoring goals, putting the ball in the back of the net. But as long as they still care, I still think we have a chance, and that's really important to me when you're struggling.
how do they harness it though, right? Because what I saw a lot of this game was too many guys trying to do too much, which was, at least early in the game, was actually opening up avenues for San Jose. So Philly, how do they harness the anger, or somehow harness the fans' anger? Man, if you could harness the fans' anger, I'm thinking you're winning an MLS Cup. You're going to win the CCL. You're not even in the CCL, but you'll win it.
Right.
How do they harness that?
I don't know, maybe take a page out of the movie Major League, where they just ruin some of the fun amenities. Maybe make them take a bus to Atlanta rather than flying. I don't know. It's all right, maybe that's a bit harsh, obviously, but
Who's driving the bus? Paul?
Paul's definitely driving the bus.
100% Paul.
It's good in for a long bus ride. I mean, look, it's time and time again, we're in a situation where we have plenty of opportunities, we have plenty of shots, and we can't do anything about them. I mean, my headline is San Jose Smurfs LAFC again. I mean, geez, I had 3 straight losses against a team that we absolutely dominated. But again, like I have a tendency to look in the rear view, to remember the past games, the past triumphs. When we were joking about San Jose being the hottest team in Major League Soccer at this point, I mean, there's some merit to that statement. Again, they're undefeated within 7 games. Matias Almeida has got his troops playing that 3-4-3 in a good fashion. Everybody knows their roles. The addition of Jeremy Abobasi, he almost struck. Even in stoppage time, he almost had a shot that got past Tomas Romero. I do want to give a shout out though to Jackson Ewell in his 100th game. He did score for LAFC, so thank you, Jackson.
Was Jackson Ewell LAFC's best player?
Yeah, he was their prime goal scorer
By
today.
accident, yeah. Oh my God.
All right, Phil, I'm going to go back to you. What is your headline for the match?
Oh, I mean,
is it Jackson Ewell 100?
The Jackson Ewell 100. Yeah, I mean that's my headline. I mean, San Jose Smurfs LAFC again was my headline. I'm just going to stick to that. I had this fun image of a cover where Gargamel's wearing an LAFC jersey and he's just ravaging around Smurf Village. But at this point, Matias Almeida, Papa Smurf, and Smurf Village, did their best to thwart Azrael and Gargamel out of town.
You keep saying his name, so I can't not bring this up. Matias Almeida's style, pitch side. Are we there for it?
You mean his clothing style?
With the sweater.
Country club?
With the sweater, with the
I
5 rings.
That man a pair of golf clubs.
Or
set.
No? Doesn't work for you?
It didn't work.
Doesn't work for you?
Yeah, the clash of style between Bob, who just looked like he came off the practice pitch, and Matias, who looked like he came with the country club.
He looked like he was auditioning to be the Fiorentina head coach because he had that nice purple sweater. I know he likes purple.
Right.
I shouldn't be talking. It's obviously a 110 football color, but it was just kind of sweet. Grow the hair back.
Yeah, we missed the hair.
Missed the hair.
Yeah.
And honestly, now that you've said so much about Smurfs, I'm gonna go back and watch Smurfs because I haven't watched it in so long. And I was like, yeah, that was actually a legit cartoon. I liked it.
La 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 la.
Plans tonight sorted.
There you go.
All right.
Wow, you're watching Smurfs tonight. That's it's tough. It's tough. Let's go to stock falling. No one wants to hear what my headline is because you guys did great. But everyone would love to hear stock falling. So I'm sure the chat. Get in the chat. What's the stock falling? I know you guys went off on Bob, so maybe that's what it is. But let's hear it from the chat. Jess, I'm going to go to you first with your stock falling.
My stock falling is Carlos Vela.
Oof.
Yeah.
Not sharp. Too many touches. Trying to do too much.
High expectations for this guy. I mean, he's our guy, right? But the last couple of games, what I really felt is he's just taking too many touches. He's trying to do too much, and it's to the detriment of our team. You see almost everybody running forward, and Carlos Vela takes so many touches. He loses the ball, gives a bad pass, and then the other team is in transition in on goal because pretty much everybody goes forward. We're not conservative at all in offense. We throw everybody forward, and it's high risk and no reward right now because we have Carlos Vela, and I don't know if it's because he's feeling like he needs to take it all on his own shoulders, but at the same time, he's experienced enough to know that he needs to keep the ball or give it up quicker. And I think at this point, I know he's scored goals for us, and he's pretty much our only goal threat, but he's almost a hindrance to us a little bit because a lot of our moves just kind of die at his feet, and he needs to do better. So it's not trying to be harsh. High expectations, come with some high criticism. I think he's been quite poor, even though he's been pretty much our only goal scorer except for Tristan Blackman, so it's
and Jackson Ewell.
Jackson Ewell. So yeah, harsh criticism, but I love Vela, but he's starting to scare me a little bit.
There's people in the chat that agree with you, so it's not this is warranted. He's top player in the league. He's obviously talented, but he's not finding ways. But my question is, or maybe is the team maybe deferring to him too much? I mean, it seems like Carlos is the highest usage player all the time.
Yeah.
And no one else is finishing off plays. No one else is. And I used to say Latif's mantra is when in doubt, pass to Carlos. It's not a bad idea. But does it seem to you guys like it's all Carlos all the time?
I think the team needs to have more confidence in itself. We don't just have one 5-goal scorer on this team right now. We have 3.
Mm-hmm.
We have multiple players who have scored multiple goals this season for us. And look, it's a team effort. If LAFC this season is going to win, it is not going to be on the back of Carlos Vela.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to be on the backs of multiple players. I'd love to have 3 10-goal scorers and then 3 15-goal scorers. And as we move forward towards MLS Cup, which I still think we're going to win, we look at our scoring sheet, and it's got 7, 8, 9 guys on the scoring sheet regularly. That's what this team needs, and I completely agree. We are deferring to Carlos Vela too much. We saw that with Chicho Arango, basically his first cross into the box.
Yeah. All right, Philly. Who do you got for your who or what? It doesn't have to be a player, but what is your stock falling?
I mean, it's certainly not just a singular person. I mean, at the end of the day, we win as a team, we lose as a team, and the way these guys have been playing, my stock falling is LAFC. They just haven't come through. No, I'm throwing the whole team out under there. I mean, it's a team game, all right? Even if Carlos Vela could take the entire team on his back and take care of business, he can't play defense as well. He won't be running around from like box to box. It's a total team effort, and as a team, they lost. The highlights, Sifu played fairly well. Latif, when he came on, he added some spark. Had he scored a goal, it would have been a different story. Christian Arango had an opportunity. And, one thing that we're missing on, even though I joked about Jackson Ewell, scoring the only goal for LAFC, he almost scored a goal for San Jose today. He hit the crossbar. So we're lucky that happened. He totally had Romero beat. That was another goal opportunity right there. But stock falling, I mean, it's the team. I know I share your half-glass full optimism, but from what we've been seeing lately, I mean, MLS Cup is a very far dream at this point. Scoring goals is really what we need to do, crawl into the playoffs, and then maybe we could have that discussion. But again, we win as a team, we lose as a team, stock falling, LAFC.
All right. Philly's selling his LAFC stock, black and gold stock going out the window.
I'll buy it.
You'll buy it.
I'll buy it.
All right, but what
you can make money on shorting it, by the way.
They say buy the dip, right?
Yeah, what stock are you selling then?
This kills me because I haven't wanted to say it, but the way that he has played now for 3 straight matches, Thomas Romero has looked
that would have been
shaky at best at times. And I think part of it is due to the fact that it is now a revolving door in front of him. Losing Eddie Segura, clearly, you talk about the 4-3-3 as the security blanket. Eddie Segura is that comfy pillow that just helps you fall asleep so well at night. And I love Thomas Romero. I love what this young kid brings to the table. But these last 3 games, we haven't seen the confidence in himself. Yes, he goes out and he makes a couple punches in this game. He makes a couple saves, but nothing that you would say a save that wouldn't be made by any other keeper. So I looked at it as, we talked about this a little bit going into it, the battle between the Georgetown keepers. JT Marcinkowski clearly got the better of this one, but we need to see a little bit more confidence from Thomas Romero moving forward.
I just kind of want to piggyback off what he's saying. So Thomas Romero didn't get
Please
tested.
don't go into more Georgetown stuff.
No more Hoya banter. Definitely no more Hoya banter. But he had such a good back line in front of him that he didn't get tested very often. And so if you look back at the stats, I'd have to double check what it was now. But even with Tomas Romero piling on games, it was still Pablo Cisniega that led the team in saves. So that's telling you something. Now with Segura out, now with the back line being different, Romero's starting to get tested more and more. And he hasn't been effective over the course of the past couple of games. You don't want to mess with a player's confidence. We were talking about earlier. I agree with what you said upstairs. You don't want to take the kid out at halftime and mess with his confidence. But at this time, I think we open the door back up for Pablo Cisniega to see what's going on.
Well, think about this. Next match is Atlanta. What's after that? Galaxy.
Yeah.
So
Vancouver.
let's say Vancouver? Or
Yeah, the 21st, Vancouver.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So Atlanta, Vancouver, Galaxy. So let's say you do switch and you give Pablo Cisniega a little run out just to see who you think is better.
Yeah.
Is that a good idea this close to playing against the Galaxy?
Personally, I think, we have too many different pieces in that back line, and that includes the goalkeeper. I think you try to solidify those center backs as much as possible and to keep him safe. I feel like if you take the goalkeeper out, now we just have a big mess just going on. I get that Romero's been a little bit shaky, but I also feel like he's owed a chance to get something solid in front of him before we switch him out, But that would just be me.
Did Pablo get that chance?
Pablo didn't get that chance.
Look, I feel like what we saw from Pablo was good, but not great, I guess. It didn't sell. I mean, look, I'm not Zach Abdel. I'm not Bob Bradley. I'm the least qualified of the four of us to speak to anything soccer tactically related on this show. But that being said, I think I completely agree with what you're saying, Jess. I think we need to just solidify the back line, roll it through the All-Star break, give him some time, give him some space to be able to make plays. Look, I think if we listed the problems with LAFC right now, keeper wouldn't be top 3, top 4, right? I think we've got plenty of other problems before then. But in a stock rising, stock falling kind of a thing, stock falling for the last couple games, Thomas Romero.
Okay. Instead of doing a stock falling, I'm gonna pose this to you because this has been in the chat, guys. A lot of people are asking for Murillo to be captain. Now, whether or not it's Murillo should be captain, is changing captain going to do anything for this team? Like, does the
Are we
armband?
talking about stripping Carlos Vela of the captain?
Exactly, yes.
Absolutely not. That is probably one of the worst things you could do mid-season is strip the captain, especially somebody of the profile of Carlos Vela right in the middle of the season. Because first of all, he's looking like he's in a slump on his own. And even though you may be thinking, well, you take that off of him and maybe he can just focus on goal scoring, Carlos Vela, a player of his caliber, is not going to take that well. I think you should be asking questions of other players to step up. But to strip Carlos Vela, I think would send a weird message and would further compound the issues that we already have. Ask Murillo to step up and be a pseudo captain or leader on the team, but don't strip Carlos Vela. I mean, and do you really want people talking about that? That's headline news there. You have gossip blogs and stuff talking about that. I feel like that's front page news. Nah.
Well, right. Does the armband, like, it doesn't have some kind of magical power that bestows that you can only be the only one talking in the room, right? So, I mean, Murillo can be a leader of the defense without the armband.
And you're asking Murillo to now be a frontline leader when he's just lost his leader, plays next to him for 90 minutes, Eddie Segura. I'm sorry, I don't think Murillo is ready for anything like that. I get that some of our fans may be sympathetic towards Murillo in the way he plays. He leaves his heart out on the pitch. He leaves everything out there. But, I mean, if we were talking about should Eddie Segura be captain over Vela, okay, then you have a guy who's fought in the trenches with Vela for multiple seasons now. But tell me how that would affect anything that has to do. Do you think Carlos Vela worries that, oh my God, I'm the captain and I'm not scoring goals? No. And by the way, this is a guy who just scored in 4 straight matches. So he's fine as captain. He's necessary as captain. He is our captain. Like, what are we even talking about here? Taking the armband off of Carlos Vela.
But we need more personalities, right? More big. I think that's what we're talking about. I mean, I remember. Oh, you're not gonna like this. Those Chelsea teams. John Terry was always the captain, right? But then Drogba was definitely a captain, and Frank Lampard was definitely a captain.
Right.
You know what I mean? They had big personalities in that room.
Of course.
And John Terry was never not captain, but he was never afraid of Drogba speaking his mind, of Lampard speaking his mind, Peter Cech speaking his mind. So now I have to think about Carlos, and he wears the armband. That's fine. I'll leave him with the armband, but like, who speaks their mind for this team
But
anymore?
this is, I've been asking about this for like 2, maybe even 3 weeks running. Where's Atuesta? Like, he was not great today again, and he's still somebody that I feel like is hiding and not giving enough. He's not giving enough support to Carlos Vela. So then now you're looking further back. Tristan, he doesn't really have it either. Murillo leads by example, but does he really have the clout to be the captain? Not really. It's really just Eddie Segura really and Carlos Vela, and Eddie is not there. So I'm looking at Atuesta. You're in the middle of the field. You're in our engine room. Speak up, and show it. You're hiding.
Philly, what about Diego Rossi? A lot of people down on Diego. Obviously, he comes in at halftime. Should he be more of a personality? Should he be stepping up more? I mean, I know he's only 22, but I mean, he's a big personality in MLS.
Can he have a bigger voice? Look, everybody can have a bigger voice at the end of the day. I mean, somebody's got to step up and say something. Year one, we had a few of those guys. We had Saman for a portion of the time. We had Walker Zimmerman. We had Benny Feilhaber. We had Jordan Harvey. We had multiple personalities in there speaking their mind. The personality, the one guy that would really jaw at his teammates is no longer with us. He's on Colorado right now. Mark Anthony Kaye, that benefit that we didn't get to see on the field, that's how he was in the locker room. That's how he was at practice. Could Diego Rossi step up and do some things? again, everybody can. But does Diego Rossi have one foot out the door at this point? He's certainly playing like he might. So therein lies my worry. Was he sitting on the 18 because the team's trying to preserve him? Is he part of that change at the end of the month that Bob was alluding to a couple of press conferences ago? That has yet to be seen. But every person in this team should be pissed off in the locker room and stepping up and voicing their opinion. And they shouldn't be polite anymore. They should be getting on each other's back and going, what the heck are we doing? Okay, Carlos Vela is a guy who leads by example, but the captain's armband, as we were all saying, regardless of whoever it goes out to, unless that captain's armband makes people score goals, leave it where it is.
Okay. So we, for those that think we're shills for the front office and the coaching staff, we've been pretty hard on the team right there. So, I mean, we didn't use curse words. If that's what you guys wanted us, 4-letter words to do it, we could have. But I've been told by my producer not to do that anymore. So let's try to end it on a positive note. I'm actually going to go first for stock rising. And this is a weird stock rising, but I'm going to give a shout out to Eric in the chat who kind of gave me this idea. You know what would be a good stock rising? Sticking with one lineup and some consistency and just this is the 4-3-3 and this is the way we want to do it, or this is the 3-5-2 and these are the personnel that's going to do it.
I like that. As
Chicho gets more familiarity with guys like Carlos Vela, it's going to get better. I see quality in this player. But it works all around. The guys need to know who's next to them and that they're going to be what they can do and what they're capable of. So I think that's a stock rising that's not rising yet, but buy low. And I think that if we can do that, it's going to raise up. So that's my stock rising. I'm going to go to you, JR.
So my stock rising, I thought about this, and I think it was the fact that maybe I didn't mention them or didn't think of them very much at all during the match. But I really liked Cheeky and Moon as on the outside of that 4-3-3. Not as wingbacks that are constantly being thrown up, but the way that they played in the 4-3-3 today, I thought that it was almost like you didn't know they were on the pitch because they weren't making any big mistakes, right? They handled most of their defensive assignments just fine. When they were 1v1, they were able to take out their man when they needed to. I thought that, if anything, it was because I didn't think of them in the match at all. So that, to me, means that they did their job well enough. They were consistent, they were fine, and I'll go with stock rising for them as in the 4-3-3, they played well.
Okay. San Jose was definitely targeting Kim Moon-Wan.
Yeah.
Was that more of a Cade Cowell situation, or was it a Kim Moon-Wan problem?
I mean, I think that, ultimately, if you see a weakness, you're going to probably put one of your strongest players on that weakness. And I do think maybe over the last couple of weeks, Kim has fallen off just a little bit, but maybe it's just because he's being asked to do too many things. I think he's isolated a lot. He wants to go one-on-one. I think he just needs to keep it more simple. I'm sure he'll come back into form, but yeah, as an opposition coach, if I was looking at, do I want to put him on Palacios or Kim Moon-Wan, I probably would have chose Kim as well, because he's not as defensively sound and he's having a tough time. So yeah, he probably was being targeted.
All right.
How good is Cade Cowell, though? Man,
for 17 years old, he doesn't look 17.
Right?
He's such a big boy. 4 goals, 4 assists. However, the one play where he was by himself in the box, I got to say, Murillo made a heck of a play on him. He let him know that, you know what, kid, I know you're good, but you're not going to get by me so easily.
Yeah.
Murillo showed him what a man looks like.
Love Murillo.
Yeah, and he's like, cut your hair.
And he did not deserve that yellow. I'm sorry.
No.
Murillo did not deserve
stock
that
falling
yellow.
referee.
Yeah, for
Easy.
sure.
But it was a foul. We did see the push in the back.
I don't think it was a foul.
I'll say this, it was unnecessary.
Yeah.
I think he already had a step on him,
Yeah.
but wanted to get a bite out of that guy, and that was unnecessary. So maybe that's where I agree with you. But
Right. It cost us the goal.
yeah, well, we're doing stock rising. We're trying to be positive.
Sorry.
Here. So Philly, stock rising.
It's kind of easy for me to say this. I'm going to say Chicho, at the very least, because of the fact that he got involved and integrated within the offense right away, within a couple of moments. 2 minutes, 3 minutes into the match, he wasn't afraid to take a shot. He went ahead and did so. He had another shot from outside of the box that got relatively close. He tried to connect with Carlos Vela on a situation where he could have scored a goal. I'd say he had some really good opportunities, and he made his presence felt a lot more so than a certain designated player that subbed out at halftime.
Yeah, if you come to this team as an attacker and you're a TAM player, it's pretty good.
Right?
Dio, Christian Ramirez, at least to start with, very good.
We know where
you come to
Dio's
this
going
team and
now,
you're a
by the way.
DP.
Yeah.
You always seem to struggle right out the gate. Isn't that kind of weird?
The third DP for sure.
The third DP for
spot
sure.
is
But I'm just
jinxed.
saying, TAM attackers
Right?
come out the gate pretty hot. And even though, yes, he had a moment where he could have scored a goal, he did it looked like he could be part of this team.
Yeah.
Like he definitely had something going there.
Yeah.
He had some moments. That was nice.
Yeah.
Looked
a
more
silver
natural
lining.
in this team than Brian Rodriguez
Yes.
did.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
After
so-
6 minutes of being on the squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's. I mean, I think that also plays into the fact that he's playing the role he was meant to play, right?
Yeah.
The number 9, but then be a killer on that one. Anyways, no, but I think that's absolutely important. You know, you look at Brian. I don't think Brian knows what his role is on this team. I don't think Bob has figured out how to use him best, because I don't think Brian figured out how to use himself best.
Yeah, is Brian's role in this team to go out there and maybe put a good performance in so that he can move on?
Yes. I mean, I think that's where we're all at, right? We're going to be losing 2 designated players soon.
Yeah.
I think is what the hope is, right? We hope that Rossi goes somewhere and is able to flourish because of everything he's done for the club. We hope that Brian is able to go somewhere and flourish because it's time for him to leave.
Well, we know one place it won't be Pennyroll. Jess, your stock rising.
I'm gonna go with Mamadou Fall. Like this
Good
is a player
call.
that I didn't really know a lot about, but the last 2 games that I've saw him play, I'm like, yeah, I'm liking it. I think he's good. I think he's confident for a young player, and you know, we spoke about Romero and how he probably just needs some consistency in front of him. If Murillo is not 100%, I don't know if he was taken out because of the card or because maybe he was feeling something because maybe he's not 100%. But ultimately, I would like to see maybe Fall play with Blackman, with Kim Moon-Wan and Palacios, and just keep it like that for a little bit and just see what happens. I think he's made a good account of himself. He's quite good on the ball. His through balls between the
Passing
lines are
was
really
very
good. His balls over the top are quite good. He had one in the last game as well that was really nice, and I think that was to Moose, right? And he just missed it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would like to see more of him, especially because at this point, maybe start integrating some different faces and seeing if they could inject something into this team. But I liked him. I liked him a lot.
Well, think about what everyone was saying as that secondary transfer window was closing. Like, please God, get a center back. Please God, get a center back. We need a center back. They get Sebastian Ibiaga, which is a good depth center back, and they got him for a good price. He knows the league as well, which is nice.
Yep.
But then on top of that, think of some of the names we threw around: David Luiz, Gary Cahill. Like center backs, do we need one? Like, is the guy right there? Is Mamadou Fall the guy? Anyone?
I mean, I think from what we've seen in limited minutes from Mamadou Fall, I love what I see. You're absolutely right. He was my stock rising last match, even though he only played limited minutes as well. And I think with what's important now, too, is more of what you're addressing is who fills that Eddie Segura role for the rest of the season. He's not coming back, right? So we need that second starting center back. And I love what you're saying, where we just want to set it and forget it. Like, it's so funny, right? This is what Bob got criticized for the first couple seasons. We just threw the same lineup out over and over and over again. Right. And now what we're saying in the chat is, let's just stop rotating and throw the same lineup out over again. But I think that's the question of the season for me, is who replaces Eddie Segura on a regular basis? Not night in, night out, not based on matchups. No. Who's going to be that second center back, hopefully next to Murillo, for the rest of the season?
Do you start Mamadou Fall next match?
I say there's no harm in trying. I mean, why not? He's played confidently the past couple of games. At this point, I mean, I know consistency would be a nice thing, but if he can be a consistent presence there and play the way he has, not for just 15 minutes or 20 minutes, but for a full 90, I say why not give it a shot? You're right. We do have depth with Ibiaga. I mean, at NYCFC this season, I mean, he only played in 8 games and started 3, but he was Defender of the Year in USL. I mean, that kind of counts for something, right? Yeah, maybe not.
It's $150,000 in game.
Yeah, I mean,
we're not asking
it's a good
for
depth piece.
Here. Yeah.
But yeah, I say why not? Give the youngster a try. You never know. It's a matter of who wants to step up for Eddie Segura. We didn't know who Eddie Segura was really when he came in, but he stepped up and became Eddie Segura. Maybe Mamadou Fall steps up and becomes that player.
2 months ago, I was talking to Steve Trundolo, and he said a player he's very, very excited about, because I was asking about Traore, actually, and he goes, look out for Mamadou Fall. He's going to be very, very good. So we're starting to see some of that come through. Let's do some final thoughts. If you got a quick final thought, Jess. Yeah, I put you on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was good for my psyche to talk to you guys, because I think I was coming into this headline thinking, like, my original headline was "Wake me up when the season is over." That's the energy that I was coming with. I was feeling really down, but you guys had some good positives and some good things to say that made me think that, okay, the season's probably not over. So maybe just transmitting that over to the chat box and, you know, to everybody that's probably feeling a little bit down. It's not over just yet. We have a new player in that looked quite good today. We have some players that are trying to step up. They still have some fire in their belly. You can see that they still care. And, you know, for me and Bob, we trust, you know. So let's just look out for the next match and see what happens. But that's my final thought is keep hope alive, you know.
Love it. Philly?
Oh, sometimes it is the hope that kills you, but I like the optimism. I'm wearing all these bright colors for my
I
subtle...
know, you got sunglasses on.
Sunglasses, the shoes, the jersey. It was my subtle way of thinking brighter days are ahead of us. Now, we're all fans of other leagues, the Premier Leagues, the La Ligas, the Serie A's. And the one thing we know for a fact is it's exciting to see who's going to win the league, and the relegation race is also exciting. Well, there is no promotion and relegation. So if this was a season that, you know, if we were in the Premier League or any of the other leagues, this season would be a wash. We finished mid-table, nothing exciting to happen, no Champions League, no nothing. However, this is Major League Soccer. So the bright note is, once again, if we can start scoring goals, we can limp into the playoffs. We might have a shot at something. I'm going to harken back to last year. I'm not trying to live in the rearview mirror because I know I'm going to crash forward if that's the case. But we didn't play very well last year, and we made a heck of the run in the CONCACAF Champions League, and they gave us some excitement. So even I'm going to stick with my brighter days are ahead of us. Chicho Arango is going to start doing some things. Hopefully the boys are frustrated to the point where they're going to turn this thing around. We still have a shot, albeit a small shot. There's a shot. Our season's not over yet. We're not writing it off. We're not calling it a day. We still have some small window of success this year.
JR?
I'm going to be shameless with my final thought. My dad's birthday is next Sunday. It'd be a really great birthday present if LAFC could figure out things in Atlanta. We'll be watching the game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Atlanta is a place where other MLS clubs love to go and play. The atmosphere in that stadium is incredible. I know that they're back up to near or at full capacity. And what a better way. You know MLS is going to have that on all the advertisements. It's going to be Joseph Martinez against Carlos Vela. It's going to be Big Bad Atlanta against LAFC, West versus East. My final thought is I can't wait to see this match because if there's a match, the only match, by the way, that we fly to the East Coast for, if there's a match that we are going to get up for, if there's a match that we are going to be ready, we have a week off to retool, to regroup, and to refocus. I'm saying it now, this is finally going to be the match, I've said it 3 matches in a row, where we're going to break the streak, more than 2 goals. LAFC is going to be back on national TV for my dad for his birthday. So happy birthday, Dad.
Good call. Yeah, if there's any match that's more apropos of like 2 teams' seasons right now,
Right?
it's Atlanta versus LAFC.
Right?
So it is the perfect timing. Well, thank you guys for your thoughts. Thanks everybody for joining us. I do want to thank all my guests again. It's always great to have all you guys. So Jessica Black, Philly, Scarf, Defenders of the Bank. It's awesome when we can have a 4-person. We should do this again very soon. Hopefully we're all back together.
We're available on Sunday.
Let's do it.
Well, maybe you guys will have to come in with us on Sunday. Here's the schedule for the rest of the week, guys. Remember, Tuesday, Max and Vince podcast. Probably going to be a lot more talk about this game and a lot more about your feelings about this game. Friday's the big show, the 110 football show. That's Friday on LAFC's YouTube channel. And then Sunday, we're back again. And Philly just told me that he's available to come in and hang out with us. So maybe we'll do it away days from here. That's the Atlanta game. And that's it, everybody. Thank you again, chat. Just relax. We got a whole week. We got a whole week to fester up. We'll get it going for next week for you guys. But thank you again, everybody. Thank you to our partners at Adidas for helping us out with everything, and thank you for XRM for these great studios. It's good to see you guys here.